questions. I've just woken up, by the way, if I sound a little bit groggy. So I got another comment on the Prusa video, the 3D printer video, speaking about technical issues with the printer when it arrived and stuff like that. In that video, I said about how I didn't like the fact that when you're purchasing the printer online, you've got two options. You've got semi-assembled and assembled, but for both of them, there's still assembly that needs to be done by the user after it arrives. So I said it didn't really make much sense having an option called assembled if it's not 100% assembled. I said it might not be false advertisement, that might be too strong of a word, but just rather a bit misleading. I also said a thing that would be nice from the customer perspective is to possibly show the parts, like just to kind of indicate that there's more assembly to be done or make it a bit more clear on the store page. The way that could be done is by having the parts and then actually showing kind of next to them in some way what the final product would look like. And actually, this is something that a lot of companies do. You'll find examples of it everywhere. But I got a comment from someone saying, as someone from outside the EU, I'm doing this by memory, if I saw all of the parts separately, I would think the website designer had lost their mind or something like that. They also said that when they buy something from IKEA, they want to see the full result like they can see on the IKEA website, even though it comes as something that needs to be assembled. So the tone of the comment was a little bit snarky, I figured from reading it, but immediately there's a very, very important distinction to be made here. With IKEA, they don't literally write assembled in the product title. That was the whole point of the conversation about the 3D printer thing, that if you're putting assembled in the product title and if the option that the person can select is assembled, you expect it to be, I don't know, assembled maybe? Like, they're not dumb enough to do that at IKEA. What they do is they have the product name, and it's usually something kind of iconic because IKEA furniture gets, I don't know, like a characterization from the names. They don't necessarily show the parts, but they do on the same page elsewhere say, you can order our assembly service if you like. There's a pretty clear indication that it's something that doesn't come fully formed. So that's the first point I wanted to make. The comparison between IKEA and Prusa in this case does not make sense, because literally the whole point of the conversation was that if you're gonna give an assembled option, make sure it's assembled. And then the first point of the comment was about if they showed all the different parts, then they'd think that the website designer had gone insane or something, and that is not practical. Well, in the video, I did say that one thing you could do is have the parts and then an indication of what it looks like when it's done. There's nothing to say that you couldn't do that in a slideshow, you know, like how most products are displayed. So you're having the full result and then afterwards showing the different parts or some indication. So this morning I went onto my Amazon and I flicked through some products and I noticed something very interesting. Let's take a little look. All right, here we are on Amazon. So recently I purchased a thermal printer because if I'm doing shipping and stuff, I don't want to be having to buy lots of ink to do like shipping labels. I really like thermal printers actually, but I haven't found a really good company for them. They all seem to be like, you know, drop shipped, all coming from the same factory. So that's a little bit annoying, but even still, it's an interesting example. So if you look at thermal printers on Amazon, we'll see a few options. They're largely the same and there are some like fun ones in between. Let's click on the Jadens one, because I think that might be the one I have. So for this example, the printer is a finished product. So we're just seeing various use cases of the things it can do. It's well explained, etc. But there's no real extra assembly needed. I have found one where they literally show like the power cable and the adapter and stuff sitting next to the printer. But along with thermal printers, a lot of people get like a stand to put the thermal paper on. So let's take a look at one of those. So we've got one here frequently brought together. So you see the finished product, and I can guarantee you, if we look through, there's going to be some indication of assembly. Hang on. Here we are. So we have a proper indication here. You see all the parts separate. And actually, this is just a guide. It's literally just telling you how to put it together. So that's kind of handy. In this case, it's not just a parts list. It's literally saying, hey, assembly. Now keep in mind this is something that probably comes from China as well, not something that is necessarily beholden to EU regulations. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but that's just one example. Now let's try thermal paper holder, see if we can get more examples. I doubt they'll all have it because again, like it depends who's on the team and who's like putting together the store pages. So this one doesn't look like it has one from the Munbin store. Has anyone else noticed this, like on Amazon and stuff, where there are these names for stores, but they're all like just capitals, and I think they appear and disappear out of nowhere? Let's try Gyurmok. Easy to assemble. Okay, so here's another one. So for Gyurmok, again, they've got an assembly image showing you straight away that the product doesn't actually turn up looking just like that. Oh, this one's actually got two indications. So not only do they have an assembly image, they've got a second image actually showing you the parts of it. Again, we're only looking at one example here just of thermal printers and holders, because that's one thing that I've been playing with recently. Let's try one more. Furusing, do they have one? Maybe they do, maybe they don't. They do. They have an assembly image. How marvelous. let's take a look at IKEA. So IKEA is an interesting one because, again, the stuff tends to arrive unassembled, but they don't make the mistake of literally writing assembled in the product title. So what are we going to look at? Shop by Rome offers tips, ideas, trends, our services. Let me just take a look at our services. Click and collect, assembly, and at-home services. Okay, that's good. So we've got some indication. Not that people would look at that. Let's say, let's try and find some furniture. Bookcases tend to be something that you put together quite well. Okay, so when we're looking at products, we get all sorts of filters: size, color, category, type, material, price, series, doors, number of cube holes. Cube holes, interesting. In stock at Lakeside. By the way, Lakeside is like an industrial park. Here in the UK, they've got all filters. I wonder if they have any filters by like assembly time. Is that something? No, that'd be an interesting thing for them to add. I think I've got a Billy one. Let's try Bagebo, whatever it is, because it's on sale. So I've chosen a random one. Straight away I can see have your Bagebo, B-A-G-G-E-B-O assembled. So right here on the store page, we know that it's not assembled when it arrives. And if I click on it, assembly service. So it's very transparent, and notice that it's actually right next to the add to shopping bag button here. So we know it's not assembled. So again, compare this to the Prusa XL. When choosing the assembled option, literally changes the name of the product to say 2-tool head XL assembled or whatever it is. And when it turns up, there's still a bit of assembly work to do after the fact. So basically, just going back to the original comment, that's the main point. Like, that's what I'm trying to say. That if you're presenting a service to someone, then it comes with an expectation. So if that service isn't properly fulfilled, then I think a refund may be in order. Typically responding to like single comments isn't something I would do on the main channel, but it's part of like a good exercise. As you know, I've been trying to feel a bit more freeing about making content for YouTube and just not thinking about it so much. So responding to comments is like one of those things I can do over here, you know, not worrying about, not thinking about algorithmic things at all. Maybe you learn a little bit more about the way I think about things, and just gives you something to listen to in your morning or evening or whenever you listen to these. This is decaf coffee, by the way. The diuretics are not good for my vestibular system, but I do want the antioxidants. All right, I won't take too much of your time. I just wanted to address that one. I've got another pet peeve of facetious comments, or not just facetious comments, but comments when if you don't actually pay attention to what's being said in a video, then why are you commenting like a strong opinion about something? Understand the nuance in what's being said. Again, look around. Just you find examples everywhere of what I'm talking about. All right, stay safe, everyone, and I will see you next time.